Voters will go to the polls on October the 5th in a showdown which could generate far-reaching political consequences. The constituency was last contested in 2019, when the now-disgraced Margaret Ferrier won the seat for the SNP. We assess the current state of play with STV's political correspondent, Ewan Petrie. So Ewan, you've been in the constituency today. Nominations have now closed. What sort of campaign is it shaping up to be?
Well, I think it's very clear from what we've seen already that this is going to be a very fiercely contested by-election. Many people see it as being almost a two-horse race between Labour and the SNP. So there is a lot at stake, particularly for those parties, and there will be big questions for whoever loses this by-election. The results of this will be pored over in terms of what it can tell us for UK-wide politics, for Scottish politics, particularly with that general election expected next year. And it's not just the manner of the victory or the defeat that will be analysed for a long time. It will be exactly how that party has won and how the party has lost. If some votes come from other parties, was there tactical voting at stake here? Can it actually tell us anything really about what we can expect next year? And in terms of the issues that are being discussed, it's very clear that this is the cost of living by-election. That is far and away the biggest issue that both the candidates and a lot of the people we've been speaking to are raising on the doorsteps. And there are local issues in there as well. One of them, local government funding. What are the candidates going to do, for example, about potholes on roads? But overriding all of this is the cost of living crisis. Of
course, the SNP are defending the seat and their candidate is local to the area.
She is. Katie Loudon is a local councillor. She was a primary teacher. She is very much playing on the fact that she has a lot of local knowledge as well. She has a majority. The SNP are defending a majority of more than 5,000 from the 2019 election, and she is very much making this pitch that her opponents are very much offering up the same thing.
There's very little difference between the Tory candidate and the Labour candidate in terms of policy, whether we're talking about their attitude towards Brexit, whether we're talking about their attitude towards austerity or cruel Tory welfare policies. So the SNP is the clear choice here.
And Labour are pinning high hopes on their candidate.
Yeah, Michael Shanks also comes from an education background. He's a modern studies teacher. Interestingly, he's already set himself against his party by saying he would vote against the two-child benefit cap. But his main pitch is the fact that he is the candidate for change, and he's got twin targets of both the UK government and the Scottish government.
What Labour's putting forward is a positive plan for a fresh start for the area. So instead of the division and delay and dithering we've had from two governments, they can finally vote for someone who's going to stand up for the community but also fight on things like the cost of living crisis that's affecting so many people. There's a chance here to do something different. This isn't as good as it gets. People can vote for something better, but they've got to vote for that.
The Conservatives finished third the last time, but they're striking a bullish note.
They are. Their candidate is Thomas Kerr, who's the leader of the Conservatives in Glasgow City Council. Now, he surprised a lot of people by winning the Shettleston ward for the Conservatives back in 2017, but I think he would admit himself it would take a seismic shift in the political landscape if he was to come anywhere close to achieving something like that. But he is saying that he is also the candidate for change in this election.
We're the only party offering a real alternative to local people here in this constituency. You know, you've got the SNP who are constantly divided and campaigning against for independence. You've got a Labour candidate and a Labour party that's flip-flopped on that many issues and losing track. So we're the only party that's offering a real alternative to local voters. We're focusing on the real priorities for people, and that's why I think people should give us a chance.
The Lib Dems, they just managed to say their deposit in 2019. What do you know about their candidate?
Well, their candidate is Gloria Adebo. Now, she is a data analyst. She did stand for the party in the council elections last year. She lost out by 24 votes. This is what she had to say to me earlier today.
The very things that they've told us on the doorstep, these are the things we're going to focus on rather than, you know, for instance, what the SNP is focused on, which is independence. People have said to us, we need to put independence aside and really focus on what people are, struggling with, like the cost of living crisis, like the energy crisis, like the state of the NHS. It's appalling, and people want a change.
Of course, we'll be hearing more from these candidates over the next few weeks, and Scotland Tonight hosting a debate.
Yeah, you'll be hearing a lot more from the candidates in the coming weeks, and all 4 of the candidates that you saw there will be right here in the studio for a Scotland Tonight debate 2 weeks tonight. That's on Tuesday the 26th of September.
Ewan, thank you. As we said, 14 candidates are contesting the Rutherglen and Hamilton West by-election on Thursday, October the 5th. It's hoped a result will be declared by 1 o'clock the following morning.